Welcome to the Threat Intelligence lesson. Click Next. After completing this lesson, you will be able to achieve these objectives. Define threat intelligence. Describe the formatting standards for threat intelligence. Describe the steps for processing threat intelligence. What is threat intelligence? According to Gartner, threat intelligence is evidence-based knowledge, including context, mechanisms, indicators, implications, and actionable advice about an existing or emerging menace or hazard to assets that can be used to inform decisions regarding the subject's response to that menace or hazard. This definition tells you that threat intelligence possesses three requisite characteristics. Threat intelligence is information that is relevant, actionable, and contextual. Threat intelligence must be relevant to your organization. For example, if you receive information that there is a new computer virus that exploits a vulnerability in Mac OS, but your organization does not use Apple products, then this information is not relevant to your organization. While it would be relevant to an organization that uses Apple products, it does not qualify as threat intelligence for your organization. Threat intelligence must be actionable, meaning that the intelligence provides sufficient information for you to take steps to protect your organization. For example, if you learned that the bad actor group Dynamite Panda had just launched a new campaign of attacks against medical facilities, this alone does not provide you with enough information to act upon. Threat intelligence must be contextual, meaning that there is enough information to enable an intelligence analyst to assess the threat. The Mac OS vulnerability mentioned earlier is a good example. While a vulnerability in Mac OS could be a cause for concern, if your organization is properly managing and scanning its network assets, the security team should be able to quickly determine whether there are any Mac OS devices anywhere on the network. If none exist, then there is most likely no threat to the organization from the vulnerability. It is that additional context, knowledge network assets, that can turn information into threat intelligence. The Dynamite Panda story example can also support this point. The information that this bad actor group exclusively targets specific U.S. verticals becomes threat intelligence because it helps you to assess the threat to your own organization. When viewed or considered on their own, many pieces of information do not amount to threat intelligence. However, when considered along with each other, additional information, that initial piece of information, can become threat intelligence. Where do you find threat intelligence? There are a myriad of sources, both external and internal. An internal source of threat intelligence is the information gathered by your organization's own IT security team. More specifically, internal sources come in the form of server logs, network device logs, past incident reports, captured network traffic, penetration test results, and more. This raw data is organized and contextualized into information, and some of that information is relevant, actionable, and contextual, which makes it threat intelligence. Externally, threat intelligence can come from a variety of sources, and the information is often free. Some external sources of threat intelligence are government sites such as the Department of Homeland Security, the FBI, and the National Institute of Standards and Technology, NIST, in the United States. These sites generally do not provide specific intelligence about individual malware, but they do offer useful advice about how to protect yourself from attacks, such as ransomware, and timely information about trending scams and attack methods. Intelligence can come from private sources, such as the SANS Institute and FortiGuard, the Fortinet Research and Threat Intelligence Service. Some FortiGuard services are offered by subscription, but much of the threat intelligence found on the FortiGuard website is available for free. It describes how individual malware variants work and uses a severity rating system to rank the danger that these variants pose. Organizations can use this information to prioritize resources to counter the most dangerous threats. There is also the Common Vulnerability Scoring System, CVSS. CVSS is a free and open industry standard used to assess computer system vulnerabilities. A CVSS assessment produces a numeric score to rate severity. The score, which rates the vulnerability from 0 to 10, 10 being the most severe, is computed using different sets of metrics. The metrics include factors such as how exploitable the vulnerability is, how the vulnerability impacts systems, and how effective mitigation efforts are against new exploits as the campaign progresses. For a more detailed description of these metrics, search for Common Vulnerability Scoring System in nvd.nist.gov. CVSS is an example of open source intelligence, OSINT. If you search the internet for OSINT, you will discover many other sources of free threat intelligence. Another invaluable public source for cyber threat intelligence is cyberattack. Cyberattack freely shares a knowledge base of adversary tactics and techniques. Finally, there are verticals that share threat intelligence. For example, banks in Brazil share their threat intelligence with each other. There are also other threat intelligence services and tools, including open source intelligence, like Maltego and the MISP project. There are also some recognized standards that help to share and describe cyber threats in a language that is understood by the cyber intelligence community. One standard is called Structured Threat Information Expression, STIX. Another is called Trusted Automated Exchange of Indicator Information, TAXI. STIX is defined as a collaborative, community-driven effort to define and develop a structured language to represent cyber threat information. It provides information about bad actors, incidents that have occurred, indicators of compromise, IOC, and the tactics and exploits used to carry out attacks. STIX also recommends actions to mitigate the incidents that it reports. TAXI is an application protocol for exchanging cyber threat intelligence, CTI, over HTTPS. It defines a RESTful API and a set of requirements for TAXI clients and servers. By using standardized services, messages, and message exchanges, TAXI eliminates the need for customized point-to-point exchange implementations and facilitates the sharing of vital CTI. As the diagram shows, an organization that is a TAXI client can request information and publish new threat intelligence to a TAXI server, which then can be shared with other subscribers. Click the underlined term for more information. While knowing where to collect threat intelligence is a good first step, knowing how to use the threat intelligence is arguably more important because inert information is worthless. There is a process that you can follow to convert mass data into purposive threat intelligence that can be acted upon. First, identify the primary threats to your network. That is, those threats that are the most vital to stop. Because there is an inexhaustible volume of cyber threats, it is impossible to stop them all, and to attempt to do so would dangerously disperse and diminish cyber defenses. Websites such as CVSS and FortiGuard will help you answer this question, because they provide intelligence about the most current threats with their severity ratings. But relevant threats may also be determined by your organization's vertical or business. For example, if you are protecting a hospital from cyber attacks, then ransomware is likely high on the list of attack methods employed by threat actors. On the other hand, if you are defending the Department of Defense, then attacks involving exfiltration are more likely. Second, assemble threat information from your internal and external sources. Third, process this information. This might involve focusing on information that is most relevant to the primary threats that you identified in the first step. Processing will also likely entail defining baselines of normalcy in network activities. The purpose of this is to help you recognize abnormal network activities. By separating the noise from the signal, eliminating the inconsequential data, you are better able to focus on and process the relevant information. Fourth, analyze the information and look for indicators of compromise, IOC. Fifth, disseminate your analysis, along with any new information, to friends and partners. This effort is facilitated by STIX and TAXI. And sixth, implement lessons learned during the process. Does the information alter which threats you consider the most dangerous to your organization? Does it affect what information you are collecting or how you are processing and analyzing the information? As you can see, the process functions as a continuous loop. You have completed this lesson. You are now able to define threat intelligence, describe the formatting standards for threat intelligence, describe the steps for processing threat intelligence.